Welcome to the Voyage of the Naughty Knots. Okay, there's one knot that's been in my mind today, and everybody's mind. It's the murder of Rob Reiner, right? And by his son. There's no greater knot than the knot of the father and son. It's a mysterious knot. We all have it. Daughter and father, son and daughter. This is a biblical knot. So let me share the knot I had with my father and why it became a naughty knot. So my father was, of course, an Annapolis graduate in 1929, and he spent his whole career at sea due to the 30s, where he was in the Atlantic destroyers, and then he was in the Pacific amphibious landings, and he only had 4 years out of his career of 29 years where he wasn't on a ship. So he was always coming home, and he was a disapproving father. Not any intention of his, but he grew up as a poor Irishman, and had a hair lip, and so his whole beginning was that of self-loathing, the Irish, and on top of that to have a hair lip. It was operated on, but besides that, I mean, he had a very deep self-loathing, but he raised himself up, went to Annapolis, became a naval officer. And his goal was to get a commission and become captain of a ship. That was his dream, you see. But when he came home, he was a disapproving father. I never measured up, and he made sure I felt that. So that disapproval built inside me, and so it wasn't until I was in my 20s and I went home on a vacation that we had a kitchen fight, an argument, that escalated into his face being 2 inches from mine, livid, angry, snarling, "You'll never make a nigger lover out of me." Because this was back in the 60s during the Civil Rights movement. But anyway, that was I was tired from the drive, and so I went and stumbled into the bedroom and fell on the bed and began beating the pillow, and this hate consumed me. It was a samadhi of hate. Green, I remember the color green. It was full, engrossing. And I guess if I were another person and I had a gun, I would have shot him. That hate was so intense. However, in my experience of it, there was a background light of love. It was like a dawning or a glow in the background of this hate. It was a glow of love, like a nightlight in the daytime that you can't see, but you could get a sense of it. So anyway, for me, this was the end of my search to get my father to approve of me, and I just gave up on it and went out and looked for surrogate fathers in my life who would approve on me, gurus, a boss that approved of me and gave me a chance to be creative and so forth. So we looked for surrogate fathers. And so I never really, my father then, when he was in his 80s, he had a stroke. Oh, let me tell you that this is interesting. The last word I remember from my father was a Thanksgiving. We had gone down to Jacksonville where my sister lived and my father lived, Thanksgiving dinner. And there were 2 instances where he spoke to me. One of them was where there was my sister had married a naval officer, and there was a naval officer's hat hanging on a hat rack, and some other hats, and I was playing around. We were waiting for dinner, and I was putting these hats on. But when I put that naval hat on my head, my father yelled at me, "Take that off. You haven't earned that." And then it was dinner time, and I was I was at one end of the table, and he was at the other end, and I was cutting the turkey for some reason. And I guess I hesitated when I cut the turkey, and he saw an opportunity and yelled out from the other end of the table,